to go back to basically how we got here, and I'm going to go into my theory on some of this with modern art, or what I would call art now, and our world of dialectical inversion, which is, and this will lead us into a comic topic, because we do make comic books, and some people who listen to this like comics. We do have 37 subscribers, which maybe someone listens to this, so that's nice. The best way.
By the way, if you haven't done it yet, like and subscribe.
Yeah, I need to keep saying and doing that. I just always forget, because I'm used to being on other people's podcasts and I don't pimp their stuff. That's not my job. But anyway, the best way to describe for a comic fan, I think, of dialectical inversion is the trope of we're the same, you and I.
Yeah.
So, when Punisher in the show, when Punisher and Daredevil are arguing on the rooftop, and Punisher makes the point, when I hit them, they stay down. That's the difference between us. Dialectical inversion is creating a dialectic by taking two different ideas and assuming, literally assuming an objective, overtop view of them to where they're equal but opposites. And that they're part of this, or maybe not even that, but they're part of like the same argument or the same idea. They're just different ways of going about it. And then the inversion part is where you make one better, usually the one that is less socially acceptable or morally acceptable, and you make it more morally acceptable. So you'd say, and people like, okay, well, the Punisher and Batman do the same thing, or Daredevil do the same thing. But when the Punisher does it, it's better because the Joker doesn't kill anymore. And I know those are two different universes. I'm just making it easy for people to understand. If he kills Kingpin, Kingpin can't hurt anybody anymore. Therefore, Punisher is actually better at this. That's dialectical inversion. It's to say, oh, we're both justice, and my justice is better. But the point is, like, no, they're both not justice. You just assumed they were justice so you could create a dialectic, which is opposing ideas, and then you inverted the entire idea to put your idea on top.
You're right, because in reality, one is, while you can look at them and say both of them are vigilantes, one of them is an insane person who kills because from out of his crazy ideologies and stuff, and the other one is actually trying to help people, and does so in a courtroom and through using his powers for a good reason.
Yeah, one adheres to justice. He doesn't read.
Right. One. Yeah. There are established rules for one, and for whatever reason, society does. It's within human nature to reject authority, to reject any kind of establishment. And that's why I think we see so many of those inversions, like what you're talking about, is that people love to see a character that doesn't have to obey like they do.
Yeah, and there's a catharsis of that, because a lot of times there is unjustified and wrong authority, and that's a whole other topic. But you'd have to prove it, and you can't prove it like this. So what you would say is, we're both vigilantes. And that's not enough. What you have to say is we both are doing justice. But my justice is better. But to get to that point, you have to redefine what justice is. And when you redefine it, it becomes nothing. That's the whole thing. It just becomes subjective. The objective is, it is how we as a society agree to govern these rules. As far as if you want like a really terrible materialist and secular view of justice, without including, deep human rights and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I think people get the idea, but I'm going to push further, but this is how we got into a lot of the current problems in comic books, is because, and I see this argument, a lot of people say comics have always been political. And it's like, that's not true. It's like Stan Lee making, or not, it wasn't even Stan Lee, it was Chris Claremont making a comparison of mutants with civil rights, like one time or so in like one run. What was that? Was that God Forgives, Man Killed? I forget the name of it. Really good run.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I think that's the way.
God Loves, Man Hates, something like that.
I think it was the first one.
Yeah. Anyway,
God Loves, Man Kills.
But it's like that versus, you know, a more modern comic basically shoving current political issues, like let's say throwing in Barack Obama or Donald Trump or something, or you know what I'm saying, overt. One is political. The other one may have included politics as a storytelling point. But what you do to create a dialectic is you say, well, they're both political. But ours is is intentionally political. Ours isn't getting people hurt. Ours is doing the right message, and now you've inverted it. Instead of it being comics with politics, it's no, everything's political. And if anybody's a fan of this, they would know that I discussed it with Stephen Crowley a little bit back, that, you know, the term everything is political or all art is political is a fascist statement. So go check out that clip if you haven't already. But you see, I know you understand what I'm saying. I'm just I want to make sure I'm getting it across to, because these are stupid words. These are big words, dialectical inversion, and it's all ideology and all kind of started with Hegel and all this kind of crap and Marxism. But I mean, that's how we got to art like this. Art was torn down for being about religion and being about order and being about beauty, and that's why we went through what we went through for like several hundred years of it being more and more degraded, which I like some surrealism and that kind of stuff. But I mean, basically you get to the joke of modern art. There's no structure, there's no order, there's no beauty. In fact, some of it is aesthetic terrorism, which is another short video you can go check out, because I called Velma Aesthetic Terrorism, which is literally art made to terrorize culture and tear it down. Okay, so we had that dialectic then of art, where maybe what is beauty basically? You know, well, art is this or this, and it's like, okay, well, it will invert what beauty is. And so beauty and politics and power politics and power are now beauty, not God, objectivity, and the divine.
Yeah, agenda is beauty.
So yeah, social problems and politics are now beauty, and that's what this is.